for years. Americans actually skew center left, if not outright just on the left. When you look at actual ballot measures, when you look at abortion rights, when you look at wages, which I'll get to as well here, Nebraska passed a ballot measure to raise its minimum wage to $15 per hour by 2026. Nebraska. And a measure in Nevada to raise it to $12 by 2024 is leading. So a minimum wage ballot measure still has not lost since 1996. At the very least, you have to admit Americans are on the left side of the economic spectrum. They support workers' rights. They support higher wages. This is a fact. So Democrats should not be afraid of running on these issues. Fetterman ran on raising wages, and he came out on top. Here he is. 50.53% to Oz at 47.05%. Fetterman outperforming Biden in terms of percentage of the vote here. Again, showcasing how you have a populist, a more progressive candidate at the top of the ticket, actually winning voters over more than the so-called centrist or moderate Joe Biden. In Pennsylvania, a state that is viewed now as a swing state. So it's not just, the AOC districts, the deep blue districts, that it's good to run this kind of campaign. No, it's everywhere. The message that Fetterman ran on is popular, and that is why he won. Here is a piece of his victory speech.
I'm so humbled. Thank you so much. Really. Thank you. Thank you. Like what is it? It's like 1:30 in the morning and you're still here hanging in. I'm proud of what we ran on. Protecting a woman's right to choose. Raising our minimum wage. Fighting the union way of life. Healthcare is a fundamental human right. It saved my life, and it should all be there for you when you ever should need it. Standing up to corporate greed. Making more things right here in America and right here in Pennsylvania. And standing up for our democracy.
Look at that. Listen to that platform. Abortion rights, raising the minimum wage, support for unions, healthcare as a right. He supports Medicare for all, standing up to corporate greed, and more. This is what Democrats should be running on. Again, he ran on this in a purple state, and he won. This is what we have been saying for years. But often money wins out in the primary races, which is why often these sorts of Democrats don't actually make it to the general, and they are unable to prove that this message wins. But here you have Fetterman winning his primary, coming in, running in this race, running on that platform and winning. And Gen Z, of course, also a major piece of this. So a CNN exit poll suggests Mr. Fetterman was backed by 72% of 18 to 24-year-olds, a significant increase on the 2020 presidential race, where CNN's exit poll showed support of 59% among that age group for Mr. Biden. Massive support here from Gen Z, and this is all across the U.S. This is why Democrats were able to either win or hold on to seats that they were expected to lose, because of the turnout from young people. Also going to the point that Democrats need to begin serving that cohort a lot more than they currently are. All right. Also, this is from John Della Volpe. He's a pollster writing here, one thing I know already, if not for voters under 30, tonight would have been a red wave. CNN National House exit poll. So 65 plus are for Republicans and plus 13. 45 to 64-year-olds are Republicans plus 11. 30 to 44 is Democrat plus 2. And 18 to 29 is Democrat plus 28. Again, showing why Democrats won last night and who Democrats need to speak to more. This from Hannah Trudeau from The Hill, saying centrists often make the argument that progressives win in deep blue safe districts, which is accurate / nothing wrong with pointing out, but this was very much the opposite of that. Statewide Pennsylvania and Fetterman explicitly ran as an economic populist. The entire Bernie Sanders aligned wing of the Democratic Party won tonight, from Fetterman in the Senate to the new squad members in the House. And I will get to those new squad members in the House, at least highlighting a couple of them. You see a few here. Maxwell Frost, Delia Ramirez, Greg Casar, and Summer Lee. And I'm going to start with Summer Lee in a second here. But first, I want to show you this clip because it's funny. I laughed. So this is Fox News before and after the midterms.
The Democrats probably should say, you know what? We put too much emphasis on abortion and the threat to democracy and not enough emphasis on kitchen table stuff. Abortion and democracy were the two of the biggest issues with voters.
Now, look, I don't want to downplay the economic stuff because that is important, and that was a big part of Fetterman's message, and I think a big part of why he won. But in exit polling, it did show that top issues for Democrats were abortion and democracy. So this, I'm not sure who generated the idea. I'm guessing it had to be from the right, that talking about those issues were unhelpful, because clearly it helped them. Those were very important issues for people, and that is a big reason why many people came out to vote. Now, Bernie Sanders and the candidates he backs. So he goes through a massive list here. I'm not going to go through everybody, but essentially the progressives that Bernie backed in these races won. So he writes here, progressive candidates had a great election night. I want to thank everyone who got out there and helped make this happen. There will now be more strong progressives in the U.S. House than ever before. I'd like to quickly highlight a few of them. So let me highlight a couple of them here. Starting with Summer Lee. This is a massive win. So Summer Lee is a fantastic candidate, going to be a new member of the so-called squad here, winning her race in Pennsylvania, House District 12. Summer Lee becomes the first black woman elected to Congress from Pennsylvania, and she has a great platform. You can go to her page, look up Summer Lee on Google, look through her platform page. She supports Medicare for all, of course, higher wages, of course, LGBTQ issues, of course, strengthening democracy. Go down the list. She is there, and a fantastic new member of the House. Also worth mentioning here from Leah Greenberg saying, and the loser of the night is AIPAC, who revealed they were totally willing to sabotage Democratic chances of keeping the majority, set $4 million on fire in an attempt to beat Summer Lee and still lost. So AIPAC went crazy with the amount of money they tried to spend, or that they spent against Summer Lee, trying to defeat her because she recognizes the humanity and human rights of Palestinians. So it really is disgusting what AIPAC has done in many of these races, but in this case, they lost. Also here, Maxwell Frost. This is the first Gen Z member of Congress winning in Florida, Florida's House District 10. This is Val Demings' old district. Val Demings ran for Senate and lost against Rubio. But here you have 58.99% to 39.46%, outperforming Val Demings. So again, someone more progressive here, doing better in this district than someone who was more conservative. And I had a big deep dive on Maxwell Frost back in August, so I can link to this video below, or you can look it up. Bernie backed Maxwell Frost, makes history and brings hope. And he is a 25-year-old gun violence survivor who pledged to be an advocate for gun reform, and as I said, the first Gen Zer in Congress. Now, just some random things to end this video. This from Alex Salmon saying, Florida Democrats ran a former police chief and a former Republican in their two biggest statewide races. So we're talking about Val Demings and Charlie Crist. Both got absolutely trounced. How much longer are we going to have to endure these calls to track right? So Florida was a great result for the Republican Party. Of course, DeSantis winning big there, and they kept their senator there as well in Rubio. But it would be nice to see what may have happened. I mean, you may still get the same result, but I would say that, I think my assumption here is the race would be a lot closer if you had someone running against these Republicans who were actually great candidates, actually fought for the working class, were unafraid to take on corporate greed, as an example. But, we're not going to know until Democrats are more willing to run those candidates. And of course, it's always going to be a constant battle, right? Because those in charge of the party, of the Democratic Party, they are completely attached to corporations. So when someone like Fetterman manages to get through, it's almost by chance. It's not by design. So it's going to be a constant fight. But the more that we are able to chip away at that narrative that you must run these GOP light candidates, these more conservative